conversation happened Saturday. My team deployed on, we forward deployed Sunday night, set conditions for Monday, and executed Tuesday. That was a week ago.
Got it. Would your organization ever cooperate with international authorities under legal authorization to assist in bringing senior Venezuelan regime figures to justice?
I get asked this question all the time. I would, Grable Rescue is a humanitarian organization. We're the fire department, not the police department, as it were. I get asked all the time, well, will I go get Maduro? In fact, I probably could get Maduro. I probably could with enough funding and budget and the rest. But that's not what we do as an organization. Having said that, so as Grable, would we go and do a rendition or something like this? We would. I don't think we would. You know, we're not fighting Maduro. We're not fighting anyone for that matter. We're saving lives. We're a life-saving organization. We're not a life-taking organization. Having said that, if there was an effort to bring them to justice and our advice or our assistance was valuable, I'd certainly be welcome I'd certainly be open to discuss, to giving ideas and contributing. But I don't think, but you wouldn't find a guy in a Grable Rescue shirt taking Maduro out by sea and that kind of thing. We wouldn't do that.
Got it. If anyone else has more questions, please put them in the chat. I'm going to take another one here. Brian, there have been some reports that Maria was actually injured during the operation. Can you elaborate a little more about that, on what you are allowed to or able to tell media and release about that?
Yeah, I don't want to get into releasing her medical stuff. That's all personal. But what I'll say is that I'm a pretty big guy and I'm a pretty tough guy. This happened a week ago and I'm still sore. So I can put it to you that way. My back still hurts. My knees still hurt. This was a very, very treacherous, daring, uncomfortable, wet, bouncing, a lot of, the waves are crashing against the hull for us. I was on the boat for 14 hours, and I feel like I got hit by a car. So I don't want to comment specifically on any injuries of anybody, for that matter, of Maria or anyone. That's not no one's business. The other part that I'll say is that there are many, 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 many things of this operation, many aspects of this operation that have not been disclosed and won't be disclosed for operational security purposes. So, if things from her team leak out, nothing I can do about that. But there's lots of details, including some funny moments that have not seen the light of day yet. And my intention is to keep those with my pictures of Hitler's girlfriend and the Zapruder film, and not tell anyone about those.
All right. On that note, what is the most important thing that people need to understand about this operation, Brian?
The most important thing is that this was done completely and totally private. The discussion about the government deeply involved is just not true. People need to understand that American audacity and tenacity and creativity can literally change the world. That if Americans, which is what Grable Rescue is, when Grable Rescue initiates an operation, this is our 800th one. Every single one of them, we've been told, can't be done. Every single one. And every single one we've successfully pulled off. Why is that? And without the government, we are completely and totally private. If you notice, not a single member of government has said, "Good job, Grable Rescue, for getting Maria Corina Machado." President Trump, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, anyone for that matter, the ambassador of Colombia or whoever, no one, not a single person has even commented on Grable Rescue. And the reason why is because it's inappropriate to. We're a private organization. They had nothing to do with it whatsoever. They don't know anything. Even Maria, when Maria comments and she said, when people ask her about, well, tell us about the operation. Maria was along for the ride. Maria doesn't really know much. She doesn't know a whole lot. She's the passenger. We're the Uber driver. So she doesn't know what route. She doesn't know where we were. She doesn't know much. And that's the way we like it. That's not a reflection on Maria, but it is fascinating to see. It's fascinating to see what can happen when Americans who are tenacious, audacious, creative, passionate, emotional, you give us a little bit of resources and we can truly change the world. We're the same country that put a man on the moon. We're the same country that invented email. We're the same country that invented Instagram. We're the same country that invented the car. You know, we're creative by our nature, I think highlighting that, you know, this was funded by donors. If this would have been done by the government, it'd be $100 million operation, for sure. And we did this on a shoestring budget and punched Nicolás Maduro in the face, humiliated Diosdado Cabello, the FSB and the GRU of Russia, MOIS of Iran, half of Hezbollah, all the cartel people. And we're here to live to tell about it. That's remarkable to me. That speaks to my team. That speaks to the donors. My team are awesome. My donors are loyal. And we don't need much, frankly.
All right, I'm going to combine these next two questions from Vlad Kisslinger at WFLA here in Tampa. If conditions allow and Maria decides to return to Venezuela, would Grable be willing to support or carry out that operation? And should we expect more extractions like this in Venezuela in the coming days and months?
More extractions from Venezuela? Absolutely. That's how this whole thing started, is we were setting up to do other extractions from Venezuela. We didn't go to Venezuela expecting to rescue María Corina Machado. We went to Venezuela expecting to rescue American expats who are stuck there in a war zone with closed airspace. So I fully expect we'll see more extractions. Will they be as high profile as Maria? I doubt it, because she is as high profile as you get. So anyone else will be second place unless I do Maduro. If Nicolás Maduro calls us for extraction, which would be really funny if he did, we'd be happy to help. And I don't know that boat would get to shore. I'm not too sure how that would work. And what was the first question? That's as far as extraction. But what was the first question?
If Maria does decide to return to Venezuela, would Grable Rescue be willing to support and carry out that operation?
Yeah, we would. We've never done that before, though. We've never put somebody in. We've put our people in. We've done infills of our people, but we've never brought someone back. And in fact, on the boat, Maria and I talked about this, and I told her, yeah, I'm her biggest fan. She's a big hero of mine. I told her, don't go back. She's a mom. She's a leader. If they find her, they're going to, rape her and kill her and torture her and who knows what else. And I love her to death. She's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. So to see her go back into harm's way hurts me. At the same time, I completely understand where she's coming from. For the same reason she wants to go back to Venezuela is the same reason why I was on the boat when we rescued her as the boss of Grable Rescue. It's because I lead my people from the front. I'm not an armchair quarterback. She's the same. She doesn't want to be a leader in exile, sending tweets and messages from afar while her people are suffering. She doesn't want that. She wants to be with them. And I completely and totally understand. I do. I get it. Of our 800 missions that Grable Rescue's done, I've been on like 795 of them, because I don't want anyone to get shot at more than me. And I don't want to ask anyone to put themselves at risk before I put myself at risk. As a leader, that's how I roll. Maria is the same exact way. So I get where she's coming from, but as someone who I love and respect, and I think the world needs, it's scary. So would I do it? If she asked, I would. I would do it kicking and screaming. We have never put somebody back in before. We've never done that. So that would be an interesting one. I'd be very scared to do it. But I worry about her safety. Even still to this day, I worry about her safety.
All right, the next question here. Were there any moments when you felt this operation was under risk of failure, or you felt it was likely to be compromised?
Every moment, every second of the operation until I saw her hug her daughter in Norway. From the planning stage until I saw her in Norway, I was worried the whole time, every moment.
Absolutely. This next question is from Catherine Ellis. I heard you say in a previous interview that some people involved along the way didn't fully realize they were helping, or at least they didn't know who they were helping. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? What did they think they were doing? Was this a lack of knowledge about the mission? Was this lack of knowledge about the mission both a help and a hindrance?
It was not a hindrance because it worked. So the proof is in the pudding. Very often we recruit sources and we recruit people to do things to support an operation. We do this all the time where they don't know and they're told something else. And I'll give you a great example of that. The nexus of the U.S. government and the U.S. military as it relates to Operation Golden Dynamite has been a topic of discussion. So everyone knows that we have this big network in the military and then the government and then in the diplomatic corps with the State Department and the intelligence community with CIA and others and the special operations world and all these things. That's not news. Grable has always shared and done that and coordinated with the U.S. government because of who we are and what we do. We'd be stupid not to, especially in this case where the American military is dropping ordnance from the sky into the same exact environment that we're operating in. That was a first for us, which turned out to be a blessing, right? These are our friends, so to speak. These are good guys. So when I shared details with colleagues in the U.S. government, I was not totally transparent. I did not lie to them. I didn't lie. But I said, hey, brother, we're doing a maritime operation off the coast of Venezuela. Here's a set of geocords. Here's what my boat looks like. If you see that, that's me. And don't blow me up. I'm conducting an operation there. And they, I get a thumbs up emoji, right? Most people thought that we were extracting an American citizen from Venezuela because Grable Rescue has done that a lot. That's usually what we do. We've done 799 missions like that, 8,400 people like that. So when Brian Stern or someone from Grable Rescue says we're doing an operation somewhere, most people assume it's to rescue an American. We know that that's not the case. So as an example, people in the military made decisions and did things based off their deductive reasoning of data that we provided. Does that mean that I lied? No, but I wasn't fully transparent. And I'm sorry about that. But given the circumstances and who she is, we needed to do that for operational security purposes. And everyone understands that. That's at a very high level. At a very low level, if I have some Venezuelan dude who's working for us, he probably doesn't know me and I probably don't know him, but I need him to be obedient and I need him to report reliably. And I can't say to a lower level guy, we can't be transparent because of the security concerns involved. And we've used these tactics and these methods in Afghanistan and Russia and Ukraine and Haiti and Sudan and Gaza and Israel and Lebanon and Syria and all these other crazy places that we work, because the reality is there's bad guys everywhere and they have deep pockets. And I don't want someone to, because I have to develop trust in low trust environments, in the end, I can't trust anybody. And I'll tell you, there are people that were involved in this thing that think that they really know what happened. And I promise they really don't know what happened. They really don't. And we do it this way for security purposes because the intelligence threat is so hard, so big, from the Sabine in Venezuela, from the DGI in Cuba, the FSB, the GRU in Russia, and many others. You can't trust anybody. So even people who we know and love, we don't trust. And that's just the way it needs to be.
Got it. Next question. Can you elaborate on why you believe this operation and keeping Maria out of danger, getting her out of danger, could change history?
Well, to say nothing of the fact of, people talk about Venezuela as this isolated, Nicolás Maduro as this very isolated thing. Maduro is bad because he brings drugs to America. That is a true statement, but this is a very, very global problem. In Venezuela, the largest concentration of Hezbollah guys outside of Lebanon is in Venezuela. The two most important, the two top dogs of Venezuela are a guy named Tariq al-Saab and Tariq al-Assami. Neither one of those guys sound Latino to me. So there's a terrorist piece to this. There's a Russian piece to this. There's a Chinese piece to this. There's an Iranian piece to this. There's a narcotics piece to this. All to say that it's all in our backyard, right? From Puerto Rico to Caracas in a fast plane is like 20 minutes, right? This is right on our back door, right in our neighborhood. The number one concentration of illegals coming caught at the border had Venezuelan passports. And fascinating how a disproportionate number of people with Venezuelan passports caught at the border didn't speak a word of Spanish, as per Homeland Security. So these are some scary, very large, very big, global impact, domestic threat issues, as well as international threat issues. With every major enemy of the United States, as per our national security strategy, national defense strategy, every key enemy listed and threat listed in those documents on the Pentagon website have a demonstrable presence in Venezuela. So Venezuela as a country and as a topic is not just about a country in Latin America. This is a large issue. So to see that Nicolás Maduro is in charge of all that and profiting off of all that, he's the largest drug dealer on planet Earth. He makes Pablo Escobar look like a rookie. To see that Maria is trying to correct that makes her a friend, makes her an ally. And because of that, this goes beyond just, oh, she's an opposition leader of Venezuela. She's a world leader. She's fighting global threat. The Russians are sending troops to Venezuela to go help them out. The Russians have given Venezuela surface-to-air missiles to try and shoot our aircraft down. María Corina Machado is fighting for her country, Venezuela, and says, we want to be a member of the world we want to be a responsible member of the world community, and this is bad. We don't want to be a drug-dealing dirtbag country. We want to be a nice, good country where we're contributing to the world order and not taking away. And for those reasons, I think this is a major thing.
All right, Brian, another question here. Is there anything that is being reported in the media or that you've seen that you want to elaborate on, or is there anything missing about the operation that you want to add?
There's a lot of the operation that I want to add, but I'm not going to. There's a lot of the operation I would love to talk about because there's some really awesome parts, and there's also a couple of really funny parts that have not gotten out yet. We're not going to be the ones to disclose anything. What's come out in media has not been disclosed by us. That's all come from Maria's team and other people. We haven't done any breaking news type stuff. Well, we've corroborated and confirmed parts of it because we felt that it was so out and there was no risk to. However, there's lots of this operation that have not been disclosed. That one is funny and would I think people would really enjoy hearing. Two very would demonstrate bravery and courage and those things, but we haven't disclosed that either. And then there's some parts that are there's lots of parts of the operation have not come out that maybe they do, maybe they don't. We'll determine at that time if it's safe to confirm or deny those things. But there is a lot more to this operation, and we won't be the ones to disclose those other things. And if they do come out, we'll figure it out from there. As far as things that have come out, what do I think? I think largely what has come out has been, in general, obviously what we're saying is accurate, but I will say that there have been some things that have come out that are not accurate, and that's really a product of our counterintelligence campaign, where people thought that they understood things and they didn't understand, and they don't know, they can't separate the truth from the lie. They don't know the reality from the dream. They weren't there, so there's no way for them to know. They got to take their sources' words for it, and those sources, maybe we misinformed, and we did that for exactly this reason, because people talk. People talk to the enemy. People work for the enemy sometimes. Good guys flip. We flip people and trade people all the time, as a matter of course. People leak things to the media, all kinds of things. So we do it this way specifically because of those problems where people think that they really know, and actually they don't. The only way you know is if you were actually on the boat, and if you're actually in the car, and if you're actually on the ground, or if you're actually on the plane. Other than that, you're hearing it from someone else who may or may not be reliable, who may or may not be being fed something wrong. And that's just the way it has to be. It's why we record all the videos. What's interesting, 800 missions, we've got like 9,000 videos. We have a lot of videos on this operation that we have not disclosed, that we haven't disclosed any of them deliberately, because there's no need to, and there's some security concerns there. But it's why we do it. It's why we record everything, because the reality is, if it comes down between my word and someone else, don't have to take my word for it. Number one, Maria's in Oslo, so I have that part done. And more importantly, because I'm on the operation and my team are on the operation, you'll see pictures of us doing the work. We don't have to say, trust me, we've got the proof.
All right. Without naming anyone, Brian, did any individual within the regime secretly assist in facilitating her exit? The Maduro regime?
I can name every single person in the regime that helped. That's it. Absolutely not. This rumor, this is a textbook Maduro regime tactic. When they get embarrassed, this is actually straight out of the Russian playbook too. Vladimir Putin taught this to the Venezuelans. When they get embarrassed, they're humiliated. The only thing they can do is either say, yep, we sucked and we got punched in the nose a little bit and we're embarrassed, or say, actually, we knew what was going on the whole time. We knew, and we let it all happen. None of that is true. The likelihood that they know is about 1 billion to 1. And I say that because even the good guys didn't know, let alone the bad guys. So I would absolutely not work with the bad guys without working with the good guys too. So if the good guys, if we didn't work with the good guys, we certainly didn't work with the bad guys. Certainly not.
All right. Is there any other questions?
And further still, to suggest that they would help is pretty comical, right? Like that. This is the same Maduro regime that spends $1 million a day trying to find her. They've gone after her and her family multiple times. They were active on social media this whole week talking about how bad she is and how she's in Europe and they know. And as soon as she comes back, she'll be a war criminal and all this other good stuff, right? Diosdado Cabello was the ringleader of this stuff. Diosdado was all over social media saying, we know where she is. She's in Spain. She's in Europe. She's here. She's there. And then this happens. And magically, the same guy says, actually, we helped out with this operation. Well, then why were you online saying that you knew she was in Europe then? Why would you do that? Why didn't you just put her on an airplane and fly her to Norway? Just be done with it.
Got it, Brian. If there are any other questions, please put them in the chat. I'm going to add one more here. Brian, does Grable Rescue know how many Americans are in Venezuela currently? And if the U.S. does mobilize in the country, how can people contact you at Grable Rescue?
Yep. GrableRescue.org is our website. That's where people can go to ask for help. That's also where people can go to give help. There's a big button there that says request. There's a big button there that says donate. Everyone should be pushing one of those buttons. If you are an American and you need help, ask for help. We'll come for you. If you're an American and you love America and you don't need help, you should help us. Push the donate button. Everyone can do something. Also, social media is very helpful. We have Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and X and whichever ones, all the other ones. We got all that stuff. It's a great tool that helps us out a lot to help with raising awareness and helping people find us. Remember, when you call the embassy, they don't connect you to us. In fact, there is no embassy in Caracas, so they're not connecting you to anyone. Social media is very often how people find us, if not the website. And what was the first part?
Do you have an estimate of how many Americans are in Venezuela?
Yep. We don't really know. Depending on which stats you look at and the veracity and the accuracy of those, between 15 and 30,000, which is a big variation, but a lot of people. There's lots of expats in Venezuela, lots of oil guys in Venezuela, lots of dual citizens in Venezuela. So, will they all be under duress? I actually don't think that many Americans will be under duress. I don't. But I think everyone will be very frightened if and when this war starts. And I think this war starts pretty soon.
And I don't know if you're going to disclose this, Brian, but we did get one last question about what was the cost of the Machado rescue? I
don't want to get into it, but not as expensive as you would think is what I'll say. And if this was government, this would be in the, 8-figure at least area. And we are well below what we're in the 6-figure area, but not by much.
All right. Well, I think those are all the questions, unless we have anything else. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And if you do need a copy of the recording, please reach out by email, and we will be sure to get that to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.